Good morning, friends. I am again here in front of you all with the next 5 sutras today. So, these sutras are deep, though I plan or intend to complete it today so that you can have 13 sutras and you can select your own sutra or own technique and can work further. So out of this 5 techniques, I want you all to select just one, and then if you select one, you can penetrate read why I am live. I am reading the book of secrets, and in Hindi it is named as Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, and there are n number of spiritual leaders who have translated this book, and the best version or the best translation is done, which I love to read, and there are 100 times I have gone through this book and I have tried practicing a number of sutras. So I start today with the 5th sutra, and the 5th sutra says, attention between eyebrows, let mind be before thought, let form fill with breath essence to the top of the head, and there shower as light. So this is a big sutra and there can be a number of lines you would like to understand. But if I say how I have understood this sutra is, this sutra is asking you to take your attention to the third eye chakra, which is here in between the two eyebrows. And I hope you all know that this is a very old technique which is being followed in Hinduism. And we have this third eye which is named as Shiv Netra. So if you are going to concentrate on this third eye, it may lead you to a better meditation or a deeper meditation. That is what this sutra says. So Tibetan people also recommend this sutra, or they follow this method. And how are you going to do it? So you need to just pay attention in the middle of the two eyes. And I hope you all must have played this game when we all were young. We take this finger and then something happens and then we feel some sort of energy here. So if you would like to experiment, you just close your eyes and take your finger here. Just remove it, again take it, remove it. You are going to feel energy or a center here, and this is your third eye center. And when these two eyes get fixed on the third netra, you connect with yourself, and this happens within 3 minutes. If you pay 100% attention, it is going to happen within 3 minutes. So ordinarily, you are not the witness. Generally, we keep on an identification with whatever we are doing. But here in third eye meditation, you need to become the witness. You don't need to become this chakra, or you don't need to become the eyes. You just need to witness what is happening here. And if you have heard about intuitions, and if anything has ever happened with you, now what has happened with you, you must have recalled anyone, and your friend has called you, or you wanted something and you got it, or that is known as intuition. And I hope you have read that book, the Law of Secret, or it's there, but this is the base book from where the sutra has come up, which gives you the reality about the intuition. And whenever something in your life happens which you have visualized or which you have thought before is a result of this third eye, you have never witnessed it. Now this is like you need to increase your awareness so that you can take your whole awareness, you can shift your whole awareness to this center point, to this third eye, and then within 3 minutes this happens, as I told you. And when it starts happening, you are going to unfold a number of magics. And there is a caution also written in this sutra. If you decide or if you feel that this Trinetra meditation, the third eye meditation, is suitable for you, because it is easy to do it and it happens very fast. You need to go under cleansing. You need to make yourself, your inner self, pure, because if you're pure from inside, then you will have better results. There is a surety of this third eye meditation. If your intentions are pure, and if you think about any pure thing, it is going to happen in reality. And if you think about murdering someone or having those impure thoughts, it is going to turn up to the reality. So it happens, and this is not you can do with anyone else. It is only for your karmas. So when you feel like you like to enter or try this third eye meditation, please make sure that you have all pure intentions. You are pure from your soul, and then because things are going to happen, whatever the vision or visualization happens while you are doing meditation. Now there is more. There are 2 steps how you can start practicing it. It is not you just close your eyes and take your whole attention here. The first basic step to start with third eye meditation is you need to understand that you need to understand breath more. As in my first class I told you that breathing is a bigger science. It is more deeper than you have ever known or ever have heard about it. So in ancient India, we believe that when we breathe in, prana also enters in our system. Now, what is prana? Science has not been able to prove that when you breathe in, prana are breathed in. So prana enters from this atmosphere to your body, has not been proved. But when you are going to pay attention to your in and outer breath, you will understand that the breath which goes in and the breath which comes out has a difference. So the breath which goes in is full of prana. So I am saying it prana, it is written in our scriptures, it is prana, but you will understand if you will pay attention that it is like a carrier. So when the air is like a carrier, air carries prana when we breathe in. So when we breathe in, the air is absolutely different, and if you will notice, the air coming out is more lighter or it is more empty. And you can even try just now. So let us try it for a minute or so. So I have this realization and the difference of this breathing in and breathing out. Just witness the quality of the air you take in and the quality of air which comes out. Science says that when we breathe in, it is oxygen which we take in and CO2 is released. But you are going to find this difference of something which is carried inside, and the breath which is coming out is more empty. So William was one scientist who agreed that there is something. It can be called with n number of names. Many people, they call it cosmic energy. In India we call it prana, and there was a Germany psychologist whom I am talking about. He called it orgony energy. So if you want, you can read about William Rich, and he studied more of it, and as usual, a number of people felt that he's mad. Anyways, so again I just want to assure you that as soon as you are going to take your attention to your third eye, more vitality you are going to feel, and when you breathe in also, you will feel more vitality, more pranas, more cosmic energy, and more positivity enters in. So though I don't agree that there is anything like positive or negative, because everything is same. So the sutra says that fill yourself with pran And where you have to fill it, the first step of doing third eye meditation is breathe in prana and fill your whole heart with it. Try to feel as if the prana is entering and filling your whole heart. And when you are sure that you have established the difference between the inflow and the outflow, and you have started feeling of a fullness in your heart, you can try the same thing with the third eye chakra. Now the difference is you need to feel that when you are breathing in, the pranas enter and they are filling all your head above. The whole head gets filled with prana, and keep your attention here on the third eye chakra or the third eye, and slowly as the time passes out, maybe you do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. When you are going to come out from this third eye meditation, you will be a different person. Trust me, you are going to be a different person. I've tried it a number of times and you come out as a different person. So this is the first sutra, and there is so much given here. So again, I just want to make you remember you need to have all those pure intentions when you start following the third eye chakra. And to share with you who got enlightened or who used to follow this third eye chakra meditation or Trinetra meditation is, we all know it. It was Shankar, it was Shiva, and he meditated his whole life on this point only, and whatever he said happened. Okay. And one day is going to come when whatever you are going to visualize is going to become your own reality. So the more you get focused on your third eye, the more you get your things into real. And people are doing it, trust me. Okay. And Sariputta was a Buddhist follower, and in the time of Buddhist, when he was there, he went to Buddha and conveyed that I am meditating on the third eye, and I feel that the flower which I see when I meditate on third eye is more real than the reality which is outside. When I think about you, when I do third eye meditation, I find you more real than what I see you here. And every time when he came to Buddha just made him go away. He said, no, there is no difference between dreams and reality. And slowly, every time he used to insist, no, it is the third eye which is more pure. I get the picture more pure here rather than the reality. And when Buddha realized this, he has attained, he conveyed that whatever is the reality of your dreams or your third eye or your visualization, it becomes the truth. It becomes your own reality slowly when you go deeper. So Buddha told him this when he attained. And suddenly what is going to happen? There is going to be a shower of light falling on your head. So I don't know who is going to practice this, but this is a beautiful technique. Now I'm going to read the sixth breathing technique. The sixth breathing technique is focus on the gap during your daily activities. Friends, I told you I'm going to share the 5 techniques today. Okay. So when in worldly activity, means whenever you are engrossed to doing anything, keep your attention between the 2 breaths. So you need to keep your attention between your breathing in and your breath out. Okay. And one breath has come and it returns before it is exhaled out. You pay attention to the gap. But you are practicing this not sitting at one place for hours. The sutra says that keep your focus on your breath throughout your daily chores. You're washing, you're watching TV, you're eating, you're drinking. For example, I'm talking to you, but my awareness should be at my breath. My breath goes in, my breath goes out. So, if you practice your breathing, you focus this technique in your daily awareness, this leads to your absolute reality. You know your absolute reality if you do this. Okay, let me read a few lines from this. Yes, this is so true. So this what is going to happen if you are going to pay attention on your breath while you are engrossed in your daily life chores? After some time, you are going to feel as if you are playing a drama or giving a role. Maybe if you all must have been in a group of drama in your school or in college, and you have played Ramayana or Mahabharata or Krishna or any role. So that role is that you become that artist for only some time. You are not that person. You are just playing the role of Rama, you are just playing the role of Krishna, or whatever the role you have selected, you are playing a role of that, and you are not, in reality you are not Rama. And when you take your attention to the breathing throughout the daily chores, that awareness shift and you start witnessing your life from a distance. You are no more attached to whatever the role you are playing here, and it adds to your nirmoha, what we call in Hinduism. Okay, so if you can understand this, then you can understand the theory of destiny, bhagya, fate. It has a very deep meaning, and the meaning is, if you take it that everything is fixed for you, your life becomes a drama. If you are playing the role of Rama in a drama, you cannot change it. Everything is fixed, even your dialogues. If you say something to Sita, it is just repeating something that is fixed. You cannot change it. Life is taking as fixed. So you come to know that everything is fixed by practicing this technique, the 6th technique. Now the 7th technique is also something very beautiful. It is a technique to be aware in dreams. So this is also beautiful, and this technique says that more and more you are entering deeper layers within intangible breath in center of forehead. If you have known the third eye, then you know the intangible breath, the invisible prana in the center of forehead, and then you know the showering, the energy, the light showers. As this reaches heart, when the shower will reach your heart, at the moment of sleep, have directions over dreams and over death itself. So friends, when you start taking your attention or getting deeper into meditation, you can start with this sutra. So just before you go to sleep, you lie down on your bed and do the first step which I told you in third eye meditation. Fill your whole heart with prana. Breathe in and out, and with the in breath, you need to visualize that you are taking in prana. I am asking you to visualize because presently you must have not realized that there is a difference in and out breath. But when you are going to visualize, when you are going to observe deeper, you will realize this. So before sleeping, fill your heart, fill your forehead, fill your head with prana. Assume and visualize that everything till here is getting full with prana. And then say to yourself that I'll be aware in my dream. And I am going to create my own dream. And slowly, as the days pass and you realize and you concentrate or you practice this before sleeping, you will have the power to remember when you are dreaming that it is a dream. And when this power enters within you, when you come to know that what you are dreaming is a dream, and you know what is reality, then you are not going to have dreams further in your life. You will stop having dreams. And this happened with Buddha. The quality of your dream improves. So you can have this. And you can direct. I'm reading from the book. Once you can direct your dreams, you can direct everything, because dream is very stuff of this world. This life is made out of the stuff of dreams. Once you can direct your dreams, you can direct everything. This sutra says over death itself, then one can give a certain birth and certain life to oneself. We are just victims. We do not know why we are born, why we die, who direct us and why. There seems to be no reason. It all seems just a chazo, just accidental. It is because we are not masters. Once we are masters, it is not like this. So friends, if you would like to master yourself, your destiny, you need to master your dreams. Now I am going to read 2 more sutras. I know it is more, but you need to select just one. That is why I am reading 5 of them. Okay. So watching the turning point with devotion. Again, if you remember, I have taught you that you need to watch your breath and the turning point of your breath earlier, like a technique. But this sutra says that when you are watching your breath, your turning, get yourself or make yourself devoted. Just surrender yourself. So when you are breathing in and you are breathing out, you need to watch it and devote yourself completely. So when you are adding devotion, a quality to what you are witnessing and observing, this is like an added value, you know. When you go to the market and you buy things and you get 1 free on 1, so it is like an added value. Or when you subscribe for a course and something comes up that if you subscribe for this, you can go for 3 more courses, then it is an added value. So this 8th sutra is an added value which adds value to the sutra if you are following any breath sutra. So you need to add this devotion to your breathing. And let me read few things from it. In the first form of it, there was no question of devotion, just a scientific technique. You do it and it works. But there are persons who cannot do such dry scientific techniques. Those who are heart oriented, those who belong to the world of devotion, for them a slight difference has been made. With utmost devotion, center on the 2 junctions of breath and know the knower. If you are not of the scientific bent, of the scientific attitude, if you are not a scientific mind, then try this. So, I'm sorry and no offense with men, but when I say or when I ask a man to do this technique, they can do it bluntly without getting devoted. But when I ask a woman and if I add this word devote yourself or surrender yourself, this works better because there's a difference. And I don't say we all are Ardhanarishwar. Sometimes in the womanhood in you is more, so you feel like more devoted. And if this devotion is there in you, if the surrender thing is there in you, you may be physically man, but you can be more womanly if you have the surrender point in you. So when you are breathing in and out, just surrender yourself, just devote yourself, be kind and be more humble from your heart. Feel this humbleness, and this technique is surely going to work. Okay. Now I read you the 9th technique, and again this 9th technique has 3 parts in it. Okay, so this is one of the best technique, and And one day this technique has really changed something in me. So the ninth technique says, lie down as dead, the first part. So what are you going to do? You are going to select a room, select a place, and make yourself comfortable and just lie down as dead. So there's a beautiful meditation, a guided meditation if you would like to go for. So it's named as death meditation, and if you are a Osho follower, you must have undergone this death meditation earlier. So what here it is done, here you are asked to lie, and then you are asked to surrender and feel as if you are dead. And it is not feel, you have to empty yourself, and you need to be very strong while you're doing this meditation, and you go deeper, and they say at some point that now you cannot move, you are dead. And then we visualize what is going to happen if I die and if I am not in this world. And I did this. And you need to visualize each and everything. What is going to happen to your family? What is going to happen to your kids? To your responsibilities, to the duties you're taking up in office. All the assumptions which you are having, that because you are there, the things are running, the world is running, they all get destroyed. You come to know that you make no difference. When you are not here, everything is going to run as it is not, means I don't say as it is going now, but no one is going to stop eating when you are no more in this world. And the person who loves you a lot also have to eat. No one goes if a person goes. So you need to understand, and if you do this death meditation, it is going to add value to your death. And then you can, my daughter, she plays with me. There is a game of choosing this and that, and it was like 2-3 days ago only. You would like more people when you when you die, or you want more people on your birthday party? I don't know what your answer is, nor I am going to share what my answer is. But if you would like to make this world remember you, if you would like your family, your friends to remember you, you need to be important to them. And you can only be important to others if you make them important for you. So this was the first part. Lie down as dead and practice this death meditation continuously for 3, 6 or 9 days. And soon you will realize what your worth is. The second part of this is stare without blinking. Achha, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to tell you that Raman Maharishi, if you have heard his name, he attained enlightenment during this lie down technique only. Lie down as a dead. Okay, so if I add some names, so it is going to boost your confidence. Yes, if Raman Maharishi has attained using this technique, I can also break the bond using this technique. Okay. Now the second is, it is also a beautiful technique. The sutra says, stare without blinking. Yes, stare without blinking. So you need to stare without moving any eyelashes. Lie down on maybe floor or on earth and stare towards the ceiling with your open eyes. And do this for years together. One person did it for many years, and he got enlightened. And if I'll say his name, you will say, oh, I know, I have heard. But you never knew how he got enlightened. Meher Baba. Okay. So for years together, Meher Baba was just lying dead on the floor, staring at the ceiling without moving an eyelash, without moving his eyes. He would lie down for hours together, just staring, not doing anything. Staring with the eyes is good, because you become fixed again in the third eye, and once you are fixed in third eye, even if you want to move the eyelid, you cannot. They become fixed. Meher Baba attained through this staring, and you say, how with these small exercises he could do it? But for 3 years he was staring at the ceiling, not doing anything. 3 years is a long time. Do it for 3 minutes and you will feel as if you have been lying for 3 years. 3 minutes will become very, very long. It will look as if time is not passing, and as if the clock has stopped. But Meher Baba did it. And what happened after this? Everything in Meher Baba's mind stopped. He became thoughtless. And there is an anecdote which is said that when Meher Baba went to America, there was a man who could read thoughts, and he was one exclusive foreigner, and he came to Meher Baba and said that I can read everyone's thought. And Meher Baba said, okay, read what is there in my mind. And this foreigner sat for so long with his pen in his hand, and he couldn't read even a single word. He couldn't see even a single thought crossing Meher Baba's mind. So, if you can stare without moving your eyelashes, try doing it. Okay? Now the third part is suck something and become the sucking. So, suck something and become the sucking. This is the verb used here, suck. So it is not only about suck and sucking. It is about if you're running, become just become the running. Witness yourself and do not run for any race. Just become that running. Or if you're eating, become or dissolved in the food, in the flavors, in the taste. So whatever action you're doing, become that action. Don't be yourself competing or being alive in it. So that is surely going to add quality to your work. And I hope many of, if you are hearing me, you may be boss in some or the other company, and there is saying that be 100%, do your 100%, give your 100%. This is what is 100%. Whatever you are doing whatever you are putting in effort, give your 100%. Be there 100%. If I am eating, I'll just eat and enjoy my food. If I am cooking, I'm dancing with this cooking activity. I'm all engrossed with cooking. Then completely the whole world vanishes for me. If I am drinking water, I become water. I just realize it going from your mouth, entering into my throat and entering into my stomach. So just live every moment. Do whatever you are doing, and if you are doing, and if you are being present there, what you are doing, then you add quality to it. And there is a research which is being proved. That is why this word suck and sucking is used. So I am going to read this for you, or I am just going to tell you that when we are born, a child is born, a neonate is born with this sucking instinct. And if this instinct is not satisfied, if this suction instinct is not satisfied, moreover, the researchers say that he's going to be a smoker later in his life, because this was the primary instinct which was not satisfied. Again, I'm saying this because researchers have proved it. Okay, that is why I have brought this point here. And this happens whenever you are not being 100% in whatever you are doing, then you have all those burdens with you later. So if we are here and you are hearing me, so be 100%. And now, friends, it is the time where you need to select which technique you are going to follow, and try it out throughout the day. and see if you can connect with yourself. And it was nice, you all heard me. So see you again tomorrow, and I'm going to start with again 9 techniques I have finished. So we are going to do 10th, 11th and 12th technique tomorrow again. Okay, yeah, welcome Maima. So bye, take care, see you all again tomorrow.